Now we're going to answer the questions, is there a need to preserve or use as little of drinking water as possible? Here in front of me you see this concrete construction. Beneath here there is a groundwater aquifer, a very small one, but that provides us with drinking water to our cottage. With groundwater, it is solely dependent on how it is recharged over the year. Basically, precipitation. The colder period of the year, say October to maybe February, March, water will seep through, or the precipitation will seep through to the groundwater aquifers to recharge the water. If it rains during the warmer periods, say from May until August, what you see around me here, all the vegetation, well, you have my lawn, you have farming fields around me, will consume the water to grow. So groundwater resources are very or exclusively dependent on that you have precipitation in the right time, and also in volumes that will recharge so that the drinking water you're taking out from the groundwater source will be sufficient to supply the drinking water. So here you of course see that the more drinking water you use, the more strain it will put on your groundwater source. And this summer in 2025, this is a very big problem here in Sweden, because many cities, islands and on the mainland are having a problem supplying drinking water because of a very, very poor recharge during the colder periods here. So groundwater is one source. Then we have the lakes, the freshwater lakes. And they again will be dependent on the precipitation, because if the water doesn't go in the ground, the rain will find its way down to the lakes. And the lakes will also of course refill, and you can get raw water from the lakes to your drinking water works and produce drinking water. Again, we're all dependent on the precipitation when we talk about freshwater lakes. So if you're really unlucky and you have maybe a very big lake but shallow, let's say the biggest depth could go down to as low as maybe 5-6 meters depth. Now remember, in the summertime when it gets hot, you will have evaporation, basically water from the lake going up again, forming clouds, and probably will fall as precipitation some other place. So if you have a freshwater lake, you can also suffer from water shortages if you haven't had enough rain. Also, you can have maybe more evaporation than you use drinking water to your town. So groundwater lake, clearly we need to be very conscientious about how much drinking water we draw from these sources. Then of course you have the sea, and now we're talking about brackish water, as we have the Baltic Sea here in Scandinavia, or we're talking the Atlantic or the Pacific. Here of course you have basically how much water you want, but you need to remove primarily the chlorides from the brackish or salt water. And this of course is a process that requires energy. So also if you have a big sea, you need to think about that you are drawing not too much of drinking water. So going back to the previous video where I said that today in Sweden we have a water consumption about 140 liters per day and person. The lower you can get this, and where I'm sitting in my cottage, we are very, very particular what we use the drinking water for. We have come down to about 70 liters per day and person in normal water use. And then we use this water for what we need: dishing, cleaning, cooking, drinking, and toilet. So it's probably possible to go lower than 140 liters per day and person. But you also see the importance of maybe just going down to 130 or 120, because it means that you're not stressing your water or raw water sources. With that said, in the next video I will show you a way to save a lot of water. Maybe not an option for all, but definitely what we have found a very good way of reducing the water consumption. But that will be for the next video. See you soon. Bye bye.